What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost, and an absolute bomb was dropped on the Star Wars fandom yesterday when we realized that Marcia Lucas, the ex-wife of George Lucas, had come out in a new book and said exactly how she felt about Disney Star Wars, where she put Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams on blast for having no idea what Star Wars is and for the garbage that they put out. And ever since that moment, it's been very interesting to see the reaction. Obviously, for so many of us who have had similar thoughts, who also feel like the Disney sequel trilogy was absolute trash, that it didn't respect the characters, that people in charge of these projects should not have been in charge of them. For us, we're looking at it, we're saying, it looks like Marcia Lucas is seeing some of the same things that so many other longtime fans of the franchise have been saying. But for those people that do not agree with that, for those people, whether they just love the sequel trilogy, whether they're just stands for the sequel trilogy, or whether some of them may be Disney Star Wars shills, a lot of them were not very happy. And the reaction's been so interesting. For people that want to uplift female voices, that say everyone who criticizes The Last Jedi, or everyone who hates the character of Rey, everyone who wants Kathleen Kennedy gone, well, they're just toxic man babies. They must just hate women. It's been really interesting to see them react to this news. People trying to say, well, Marcia Lucas, who is she anyway? Maybe she edited some stuff, but whatever. That doesn't give her the authority to speak about this. These people have lost their minds today, and it is funny to see. You can see all of the different headlines because this is a bombshell. When the ex-wife of George Lucas comes out and says something about Disney Star Wars, that means something. George Lucas has been very, very quiet. We've heard little things from him here and there, basically saying that he's lost control of Star Wars, that it's not his anymore, it's not his vision. But he's basically staying quiet. Marcia Lucas is someone who stayed quiet for a long, long time. But now, she decided to speak out in a new book by J.W. Rinzler, the late J.W. Rinzler. So, R.I.P. to J.W. Rinzler. But in his book, Marcia Lucas has a foreword in there, and she talks a little bit about Disney Star Wars. You can see all the headlines. Original Star Wars editor Marcia Lucas says Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams don't have a clue about the franchise. And every one of these articles say the same thing. Slams Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams. Marcia Lucas was furious over Star Wars sequel trilogy. They don't get it. And of course, bounding into comics, Star Wars editor Marcia Lucas decimates Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams over sequel trilogy. These were all the headlines for a good reason, because that's what she did. She put them on blast. I'm going to read you the full quotes here. And then we're going to go over some reactions from people who just want Marcia Lucas to shut up and get over it. You're just bitter. They literally are calling her a misogynist in some of these replies because that's how delusional Disney Star Wars fans are. Let's read the entire thing once again. Some of these things are exactly the same shit that I've been saying forever. And also, Jedi Scum also put this out, and the link to go buy the book, I would highly recommend go buying the book. The book happens to be about former president of Lucasfilm, Howard Kazinjian, so I would recommend everybody going and supporting that. J.W. Rinzler, he was on a couple people's channels. He talked a lot about how Star Wars had changed, how Lucasfilm had changed after Disney took over, and he lost a battle. I think it was cancer, but don't quote me on that. I know he had a lot of health problems, so rest in peace, J.W. Rinzler. But here's the quotes from Marcia Lucas. I like Kathleen. I always liked her, said Marcia Lucas. She was full of beans. She was really smart and really bright, really wonderful woman. And I liked her husband, Frank. I liked them a lot. Now that she's running Lucasfilm and making movies, it seems to me that Kathy Kennedy and J.J. Abrams don't have a clue about Star Wars. They don't get it. And J.J. Abrams is writing these stories. When I saw that movie where they kill Han Solo, I was furious. I was furious when they killed Han Solo. Absolutely, positively, there was no rhyme or reason to it. And we're going to talk about that. And there's some people that are saying, well, Harrison Ford wanted to die. It's not about simply him dying. And you know that that's not all that she means when she says that. It's the way that it happened. There was no rhyme or reason to it. There was no point. There was no sacrifice. Nothing. We're going to talk about that in a second. Absolutely, positively, no rhyme or reason to it. I thought, you don't get the Jedi story. You don't get the magic of Star Wars. You're getting rid of Han Solo. Then at the end of this last one, The Last Jedi, they have Luke disintegrate. So they killed Han Solo, they killed Luke Skywalker, and they don't have Princess Leia anymore. They're spitting out movies every year. And they think it's important to appeal to a women's audience. So now their main character is this female who's supposed to have Jedi powers, but we don't know how she got them or who she is. It sucks. The storylines are terrible, just terrible, awful. You can quote me. J.J. Abrams, Kathy Kennedy, talk to me. BTFO from the ex-wife of George Lucas, Marcia Lucas, the editor of Star Wars and several other very, very famous movies, very respected editor in Hollywood, Oscar-winning editor. But when it comes down to what she said, it echoes so much of what we have been saying. Han Solo, it wasn't just that he died. It wasn't just that he died that was the problem. It was the way that he died, falling into a pit like a fucking villain over nothing for no sacrifice. But it was also what they did in the lead up to that. They assassinated his character before they killed him. He was a deadbeat dad. He was a failed father. He was a failed husband, a failed general, a failed smuggler who owed money to more people than he could remember. It was awful. And that's why what they did to Han Solo was just as bad as what they did to Luke Skywalker. But a lot of people didn't want to see it yet. But the reaction to this woman, who many people have praised before, was she was the real brains behind the operation. She's the only reason people like Star Wars. It wasn't about George Lucas. It was about Marcia Lucas. That's what we've heard some of these people say before. Now, those same people are starting to backtrack. They're starting to say, listen, she's free to have her opinion, but she hasn't been relevant in a long time. It's just some bitter old woman. That's what they're saying now, because when a woman speaks out and it's something you don't want to hear, you disregard it. Or in Gina Carano's case, you want them canceled. You want them fired. But in Marcia Lucas's case, no. Now she's got these very, very interesting people coming after her. No offense, but Marcia must be a bit out of the loop if she thinks killing Han Solo was some sort of Disney character assassination. Harrison Ford pushed for it to happen, and it served an emotional turning point in the sequel, so it made sense to listen to Harrison. I have talked about this a million fucking times. Regardless of if you are going to kill him in that first movie or not, there are a million other ways to do it that make it worth something, that stay true to the character rather than what they did, the garbage that they did, that undid everything we saw from the growth of Han Solo. Next one. Appeal to a woman's audience, so now their main character is female. Why does having a lead female Jedi bother you after having only male leads for 40 years? And why does her power have to be justified when the men's weren't? This reeks of misogyny. This is a statement from Marcia Lucas. I know that a lot of these people probably need like pronouns in their bios to understand what gender someone is. Marcia is a woman. Marcia is the ex-wife of George Lucas. But, you know, probably internalized misogyny, right? That must be what it is. For someone who worked on these things way back when and knew the secret to making Star Wars work, you'd think Marcia Lucas would have a bit more to say than, you killed characters I liked and Rey is OP. Those are some of the biggest problems in how they killed those characters and how the new lead character was developed. Those are literally the biggest problems with Disney Star Wars. You stupid fuck. And that's what these people refuse to accept, that there is this other point of view from a lot of people who are longtime fans of this franchise, that what Disney decided to do was definitively the wrong thing. And we have so many people who've been involved with Star Wars saying this. Mark Hamill, as idiotic as he has become on Twitter and delusional as he has become, these are the things he was saying about the sequel trilogy. These are the things that George Lucas tried in his own way to say, that he would not have done these things. And now Marcia Lucas is coming out and saying this as well. Respect your elders, but not this one. Yeah, fuck this one, right? She just worked on Star Wars, just as was the person who famously kind of saved that first movie in editing, made the last third of that movie truly what it was. She edited these movies in a way that allowed George's characters to kind of speak through them and evolve in the way that that was supposed to happen. And really, it was the best of both worlds. George's creativity and his characters and his ideas, along with Marcia's editing. That's what made the original trilogy so great in so many ways. I've had it up to here with bitter old people. It legit reads like a parody. The fuck, man? Pretty much everyone collectively dunked on the prequel trilogy for 15 years until they had the sequel trilogy to hate on. Basically, everyone's opinions on Star Wars are terrible. Either you like something or you don't. Get over it! Marcia made the OT work, but I guess she's just been bitter since then. Yes, someone must just be bitter. if they have an opinion that doesn't align with yours. That's how it works. Outer Rim Cantina. Absolutely pathetic. These people are have been freaking out all day over this, trying to spin it as hard as they possibly can. To be fair, Marcia Lucas also said that she did not like episode 1. I don't remember if she talked about the entirety of the prequels in these excerpts, but one thing she did do, she said she cried when she saw Phantom Menace because she just didn't think it was very good. The difference of her criticism for the prequels versus the sequels, the prequels, she says, I think that George made some bad decisions by focusing on these characters and making it about this part of the story. But she always was respectful towards George and said things like George's character and the way that he develops these characters. It's so amazing. He's such a creative, intelligent person and a filmmaker. What did she say about Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams? They don't fucking get it. They don't understand Star Wars. Her criticism of the prequels versus the sequels are very, very different. But no one wants to know that. Woman is so misogynistic. She sounds like your average alt-right Star Wars fan on YouTube and their minions on Twitter. Maybe it's because the people that you just label alt-right because they don't like a movie that you like. Maybe not everybody who doesn't like The Last Jedi is alt-right. Maybe a lot of people just don't like it. Maybe a lot of the people that were involved in creating Star Wars don't fucking like it. And you guys can't handle it. You can't handle that a woman is stepping out of line and saying something she's not supposed to be. That truly shows how pathetic these people are. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.